So you have some steering noise. Yes, it's coming from the interior of your car, and you're probably thinking it's your steering shaft that's making the noise. Well, before you go on and spend $150 to $300 switching that part, watch this video. Quick disclaimer, I am not saying that your steering shaft is not the main issue. I'm just saying that if you would rather fix this issue first, it will cost you around $6 if you do it yourself. This is the electric steering damper. Long story short, this little green part of the damper breaks off over time because it's plastic, and it starts making these noises. Yup, those noises. So if you're hearing those noises, it's probably going to be the damper, and it's not going to be your steering shaft. So you're probably asking, Lando, why would I switch this part instead of this part and all this and all this? Would you rather spend $6 for a part and do the work yourself and figure out that the problem was not that? Or spend $150 to $300 fixing a part that's probably not going to fix your issue? So now that I convinced you to change the damper instead of doing the steering shaft, which you're probably going to thank me later, let's get started. We are going to be taking off where the airbag is. So the first thing that someone would probably tell you is take off the battery. And yes, that's true. You don't want the battery connected when you're messing with any of the electrical components. But first, we're going to do this because this is a little bit easier. So the first step that we're going to do is actually take the molding off for the steering wheel. This molding is held by 2 screws, and we're going to take them off with a screwdriver. Just turn the wheel sideways, and if you have the car on, you can move the steering wheel pretty easy. And that's why I told you to not take the battery off, because we're still not messing with anything electrical. We're just unscrewing some screws of a molding. Now we're going to take the battery off. We're going to use a 10mm to take the positive off. Then we're going to go inside, turn the key so all the power is drained out. Now we move on to disassembling the moldings. Now, if you have one of these tools, it's going to work out perfect for you. The reason that I use these tools is because they are made to remove moldings from the car. And if you use a screwdriver or anything of that sort, you might scratch the plastics. And if you're working on your car and you're cool with that, that's fine. But if you're working on somebody else's car, they might get a little mad, you know what I'm saying? We don't want that. Now there's a total of 5 moldings, including the one from the steering wheel. The second one we're going to take off is the one next to the door. Then we're going to move on to the one that's covering the fuses. This one has a little plug that we're going to take out, and then we're going to take the side one out. The side one next to the console, we just pry it up, take it off, and the part from the bottom, the molding from the bottom that has the cable to open up the hood, has a little screw that goes into the molding and into the frame of the car. Now to take off the hood latch from the molding, we're going to press the middle part of the little connector, and it should pop off. You press it down and you push it out, and it should come out. That way, whenever we bring down the steering wheel column, we don't damage any of the moldings. The first part that we're going to take off is where the airbag is, 4 bolts. The next thing that we are going to take out are some wires in the back, and also 2 bolts holding the steering column. Now taking off where the airbag is, we're going to take it off. It's going to be 4 bolts of 10mm. We're going to take it off and put it down to the side. We don't need to fully remove all the wires and everything. We just put it onto the side, because when the steering comes down, it's going to be held by the seat, so we don't have to. We're not going to damage anything. Now after that, we are going to remove 2 wires and the holder of the black wire that you're seeing right here. We're going to take that off. We're going to pop it up, and then the red and blue, we're going to remove that. And as you guys can see, this red one by itself, we are not going to remove that. You don't have to remove it. It comes down with the steering shaft, so there's no need to do that. Now this is going to be a little bit more challenging, because you are going to have to remove the steering column, and if you don't have anybody to hold it, it's going to be a little challenging, because you have to unscrew it and also hold it so it doesn't fall on your face. Yeah, but thankfully I got the muscles. Oh. Sorry, I don't know what took over me. But anyways, those two bolts are 12 millimeters, as I told you. We're gonna remove those two. Again, be careful, I don't want you getting hurt. Now we're gonna move right into the electric motor, steering electric motor. We're gonna take the two bolts to the left. Those are the same. They're gonna be 12 millimeters and one behind the right side. So that's gonna be a 10 millimeter. That's the issue. If you don't wanna bring out the whole steering column out, so you have the motor fully down so you can see, this is the way to do it. I personally didn't want to take that off, take more wires off, take this, take that, and then put everything together again. I didn't want to do that. Now I struggled a little bit more, so I wouldn't have to take that off. Trying to put my hand back there, unloosen the bolts. You can get it done, so you don't have to take it off. So if you don't feel comfortable taking that piece apart, don't, because you don't have to. Now, after taking those bolts off, I decided to move the steering wheel, the whole steering column, to the left side so the motor would tilt to the left side of me. That way I could take it off a little bit more smoothly and I could see, well, at least I could show you what was going on. As you guys can see right here, after taking it off, you can see the green part of the damper damaged. It's all broken up, it's all in there, and it's not doing the dampening that it needs to do. So the reason that we're replacing it is because this is our culprit of our noise. As you guys can see, this is the new one, this is the old one. This middle piece that you guys saw, we are gonna keep that. This is the way that we're gonna install it back, which was a little bit easier for me. Now to place it, as you guys are seeing right here, we're gonna put it on the actual motor that we have off. You don't want to put it inside because then you're just guessing, and the little black star part that goes into the motor, it actually goes fully in. So if you put it on the part where the steering column is, it kind of stakes out a little bit, so whenever you're trying to wiggle the motor in, it comes out. I learned it the hard way. I didn't reinstall everything, but I always make sure, so I almost screwed up. So don't do that. Place it where the motor is, and if you think it went in perfectly, I would start doing the rest. But if not, make sure to look back in, because you don't want to put everything together and then damage something, and well, you know the deal. You know the deal. Now to the old one, we're gonna remove it. I used a little pick to remove it. I didn't show it, I'm sorry, but that's what I used to remove it, and then I took it off with my finger, as you guys are seeing. That's the part that I did show. And then with the same pick, I decided to remove all of the little green broken parts from the damper, because there's some in there where the steering column is. So we were taking all that off, make sure it's clean, because anything that's left in there can damage the new one or damage something else. And now after you place your motor back and you know that everything went aligned, good stuff. Good stuff. You did the hard work. Now we're just going to install everything back. All the bolts, make sure they're tightened. You can't put a torque wrench in there. I'm going to be honest, you really can't. So just snug them up tight. Not super tight where you break the bolt, but tight enough where there's no movement on the motor. And then we just go back. We start connecting the wires, we start putting the bolts, molding all the stuff. Then you put in your key and it doesn't turn on because you didn't put the battery back on. Gotcha. Make sure to put the battery back on. Now after that, you're done. You're done. You fix the issue, take it on a drive, check it out. But that's it, guys. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. If I helped you, make sure to leave that thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't, because I always come up with something that might help you. I don't know. We're going to be coming in with a lot of stuff. I know that I haven't posted in a while. I know, I'm sorry, but we are going to be coming out with a lot of videos. A lot of videos with the TC. I know that you guys are here mainly for that, because I make a lot of TC videos because that's the car that I own. I know. But we are going to be doing a few mechanical issues that the car has. Actually, I believe the alternator went out and there's making some noise, so we're going to be showing you how to fix that the easiest way. And then also our thermostat got stuck open, so the water would just keep flowing. It threw us a code, so we're going to go over all of that, and also how to refill your intercooler. Make sure that we bleed all the air out and make sure everything is correctly, what to use, all that stuff. So if you're interested in that, make sure to subscribe, because we are going to be coming out with a lot. So we're going to be learning a lot too, and we're going to be going over and reviewing stuff. So stick along. Doses. I don't know. How do I? I forgot how we left. How do I? Just left. Do I just like leave? I don't know. Bye, I guess.